All right, so welcome back. This tutorial is going to give you a bit of a peek inside the Keepsake film that I had made the other day and am using to teach you how to edit in Davinci Resolve. So this is kind of, you've already seen in the past two tutorials, one from Allison and one from Kylie, the back end of their film, which both of them were using Premiere Pro for. And so I wanted to give you this to show you what a completed film looks like in Davinci Resolve. And then later, I'm going to give you step-by-step instructions of how to start your project, import your media, add your clips to the timeline, etc., etc. But I find it's really helpful to see what a completed film looks like in the back end like this so that you can kind of visualize it. When you're seeing it for the first time, it's really helpful to see what a film looks like when it's all completed and done and put together. I find that really helpful when when I am learning something, and it helps me kind of visualize then what I need to do, and it kind of just makes the learning process a little bit quicker. So I hope it's the same for you. What we're looking at right now is the timeline down here. These are my clips over here. This is where the clips that I'm playing back here show up, and then over here is the completed version of my film. So I'm just gonna come up here to this little button and change that so that I can see, whoops, didn't mean to do that, so that I can see that in a larger view. So we'll do that. And then I'm just gonna shift some of that down just to make that a little bit easier. And I'm gonna get rid of that. Okay, so now to start my film with, what I've done is I've added a slide and transition, which I'll teach you later how to add in, just to kind of start the film off with a dark background, and then it fades into her, the very first clip of her. Now, when you're starting your film, it's really good if you can think of, or when you're shooting your film, it's really good to think of what would be a beginning, establishing shot, beginning, and then a middle and an end. So how are you going to start the film? You don't need to think too hard about the middle stuff. That's pretty easy, but think about how you're going to start the film, and then think about how you're going to end the film, because that's one of those things that's hard to go back and do later. So if you can have that forethought when you are shooting your film, it's really good. If you don't have that, you can potentially go back and do that. I mean, there's nothing to say that you can't start your film with something that you shot a couple days later. So it's not as if it's too late now to go back and shoot something to work as your beginning. But it's awesome if you have something, even if, you know, it's not perfect. I didn't really do a great job of having a very good beginning, or, you know, interesting introduction into this. This is super simple. This was just, we went out into the backyard in the morning, and I was like, hey, can you come climb the fence? And she was like, yeah, sure. So that's how that happened. I didn't really have much of a setup, or time really to shoot something in the lead up to it. So the way that this all came about and what I did with her was, it was morning, sunrise. We were up early, and the time changed here recently, so the sun is rising later than normal. And so I noticed that the light was gorgeous outside, and I noticed that it was about to come above the house behind us, and I knew the light would start to pour into the backyard. And so she was wearing this really cute bunny nightgown that I really like on her. And there's this thing that she does, or that she started doing lately, which is to climb on the fence. And I asked her if she would, well, I knew that that is something that I wanted to capture that she does, and that she started doing. And it's really hilarious because she climbs the fence and then like peeks over at the neighbors, and it's just amusing. So I wanted her to, I knew that I wanted to get footage of that. And then also she's been singing a lot. And so with the singing, I didn't ask her to do that here, but she just was doing it anyway. And so it was kind of like killing two birds with one stone. I asked her to come out there because I wanted to get footage of her just playing in the yard and climbing the fence. And she gave me this other thing that I knew that I wanted to get film of, which was her singing, and because she sings all the time. So it worked out really well. And it only took me about 30 minutes to film this. She really only lasted that long. And there's maybe, you can tell there's not a lot of clips here. Like, I want to say maybe 60 clips altogether. So you don't have to shoot for that long, and you don't have to have hundreds of clips. You can keep it really simple and keep it really short. This is what I ended up with. And so I'm going to just take you through what this looks like, or how I put it together, how I assembled it. And in the next editing tutorial, tomorrow, you're going to see exactly how I added it all to the timeline and take you step by step through that. So, let's just play this.
Because the sun is reflecting on it. See?
Okay, so what happened was I walked out and I was like, right, so she's up here on the fence, and then I'm shooting it so that I get a lot of different angles of what she's doing that I can use later. But when I go to edit it, I'm like, all right, how am I going to start this? And I saw this clip and I was like, I really like this. What she's doing there with her hands and the way that she's singing. And so then I knew I also wanted to include this clip because I really love what she's saying here, but I didn't want to have this clip followed. I didn't want this clip followed by this clip. So I had to have something in the middle. That's why I picked the feet. And I also really liked what she was singing with her feet too. And then...
reflecting on it. See? It's reflecting on that glass.
I made sure that I held through that. Now, after this, she says something else that's really adorable, which is, and then the glass is reflecting on me, kind of thing. And so I would have loved to have included that, but I didn't have enough time, and sometimes you just have to make cuts and choose some priorities. Otherwise, your film could end up being super long, and that's not the point of this. So I ended up cutting that and just using this part of it.
Father, the old man who stood at the window, he was.
I wish that I would have shot this in a different way. I don't really love the way that I've shot it, but I love seeing her think. It's one of my favorite things about her. So I included this because I love seeing her think, and it makes me smile and it fills my heart, and so I included it for that reason.
He's so hopping.
Eventually, I get down lower in the position that I wished that I had started out shooting in, which is a little bit more straight on to her instead of down at her. But, you know, I get there in the end, which is good.
By knocking on the door.
The way that I approach the assembly of this film is not trying to necessarily tell the story of all the things that she did in the yard, but instead I'm kind of just telling the story of her in a way, if that makes sense. It's less literal, right? So it's less It's less technical, which makes it easier. But I am specifically avoiding putting clips side by side of her doing the same things. And instead I'm putting clips that are really, I'm just choosing my favorite things of what she's doing, but it's intentional insofar as I am not including clips that are shot from the same camera position, like same distance. I mean, there are a lot from the same distance, but I'm avoiding, like, for example, I'm shooting down at her, so most of the background here is grass. But before, I'm shooting more straight on, so the background is the fence. And then same thing here, the background is the fence. I would not put this clip beside this clip, right? I'm going to put this clip in the middle because I'm shooting at a different camera angle. So, and this is something that's really tricky to balance when you're editing is, you know, making it so that you don't just have a series of, you know, clips that are all the same camera position, all the same distance from your subject. But it's easy to kind of just, so long as you're moving your body around when you shoot, it's easy to if you're really clever about it while you're editing, to kind of pull things that are from different places. And as I said, it's as simple really as just finding the things that are your favorite, the parts of the clips that are your favorite to include onto the timeline. Just like softly she was singing, so I really wanted to include that.
Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair.
I'm shooting this super wide open. I think I'm at, I can't remember, maybe like 1.4 or maybe even 1.2. I can't remember.
What's that? I'm trying to get my hair
I wanted to include that whole section. Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair. And she says, coming, mother. She actually says mother because she doesn't say the in mother. She says mother, which I love. So I'm really glad that she said that because I know that's going to change soon. This clip, so this whole little sequence is a bit more storyline based. So I noticed that she was over here and she was playing with this. This is part of the clothesline. She was playing with that, and and she was doing this thing with had created this Rapunzel game. And so what I did was I made sure that I shot I moved around and I made sure that I shot lots of different angles of that. And then I was able to pair this clip where she starts to introduce the game. And she kept doing it for a while. So I was able to shoot this for, you know, a long enough time that I moved to this position and then I got this clip and I was able to include that. Actually, let me just go down to the actual shot so you can see exactly. So 1733. Where was that? Here we go. So there was that. I'll just come back up so you can see. So that was there, and then I got that clip. Okay, so she stopped. She started up here, and I filmed that, and then she came up with the Rapunzel thing, and then I filmed this because I was like, maybe I'll use a sunflare clip somewhere. I don't end up using it, and then she's back on the fence. Okay, so it's later that she goes back to the Rapunzel thing. That's right. Okay. So I don't actually end up using any of that stuff. She comes back later to do the Rapunzel thing again. So I shoot it from here this time, and then she kind of moves away from it, and then she's talking about her knee, and then she goes back to it. So I'm filming it again. And this time, I know she's doing it again, right? I know, because I can remember, that I have already shot this from this side going that way, and also from further away. So this time, I'm shooting it from this direction, straight on. That gives me 3 clips then to work with in the edit. See? I have 3 different camera angles of the same. It didn't all happen at the same time. As you can see, it took a while for that whole thing to happen. But I've then put them together in that way so that it works. Again, there's nothing super complicated about this. This is purely just me shooting what she's doing and putting in the things that make me smile the most here. There's not much of another thought process beyond that, except for, I guess, here. These are all different camera positions that I'm standing in.
Little rabbit, come with me, happy we shall be.
So I just kind of lucked out with that ending, because she really just ended this all kind of abruptly. And so I included that clip, and I was thoughtful about how this last clip of what she was saying and how that matches.
We shall be.
See how she repeats the same thing? So I did look at that, and it worked out good. I wanted to say that in my client films, I put a lot of thought and technical stuff into them, the way that I shoot them and the way that I edit them. But with this film and with some of my other personal films, it's really just, I edit with my gut. I don't put as much thought into them, because I'm just doing these for fun, and I'm not going to stress about making them perfect, and I'm not going to stress about having them be, this perfect representation of what happened or whatever. Like, it's just going to be what makes me feel good. That's all I care about, is documenting the moments that I want to remember and putting them on the timeline in a way that makes I just do it from my gut. I just add the things and put the stuff in there that's the prettiest to me, that makes my heart sing. That's all that matters. That is all that matters at the end of the day. So I hope that has helped kind of make it, you can go as technical as you want with this. You can go to, the side of the fence where all of your personal films are perfect and they are, technically excellent. Or you can go the route of done is better than perfect. And I'm going to make this because it feels good. And what she's doing and what I'm filming is meaningful to me. And at the end of the day, that's all that matters. So that's what I've done here. And that's the reason why it didn't take me forever to edit it, because I did not, I just picked the stuff that I loved, and that was kind of the extent of the thought that I put into it. So, with the exception of a couple of things, but with a 1 minute film, with a short film, it was pretty simple. So I hope that has been helpful. I can't even explain to you how excited I am to see what you've been working on. So make sure that you're sharing it, and I hope that this has helped you kind of get an idea of the back end of Davinci Resolve, and I am excited to share with you how to actually start on your film now. So looking forward to tomorrow. I will chat to you soon.